We're here for season 6, episode 9 with Tbigs. How's it going, man?
How's it going, brother?
So can you give some background information about yourself?
Yeah, Tbigs, 21 years old, from Stellington, Connecticut. I'm a recording and mixing engineer.
So what was life before you recorded?
All right, well, the way I got into music, I was always fascinated by music. I would go through hallways and the school listening like the entire day, like teachers telling me to take my headphones out.
Yeah.
I was always just listening to music. I don't know, it gave me a feeling. I look for a feeling whenever I'm listening to music. So I just fell in love with it, and I just was super interested, and that's like what got me into it.
So when did you start actually becoming an engineer?
Well, at first I started trying to be an artist myself, and I remember I bought my first piece of equipment. This is just I was working in a dish room, and one of my coworkers was like, yo, I got a mic stand and a little interface for sale. So I bought like a little Avid M-Box interface and a Samson mic and just brought it to my basement and had the trial of FL Studio and just started trying to make music. And I don't know, I kind of I never really loved doing that, but I did love learning how to mix into master and basically be involved with music, but behind the scenes, not be the front face.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what really got me going. This was probably like 3 years ago, 3 years.
Interesting. So who was the first artist you started working with?
First artist I started working with, Toby Keith and Venus. So those are the first two. Ran those out of my basement.
What was your home studio like back then?
Oh wow, I've gone through tons of equipment, but it really just started off with a desk I had in my bedroom, an HP laptop, Avid M-Box, Samson mic, and that's it. I just kept upgrading it as I went, learned more, and of course you take a few L's buying equipment, buying stuff. Like, oh, I shouldn't have bought that. I could have got this, but all part of the journey, bro. And
you live and you learn.
Exactly. Like I love what I do, so I can't complain.
Yeah. So when Toby Keith first got his home studio, talk about those nights.
I really started working with Toby. It was like January of 2018. Yeah, really. We linked up in December of 2017. He was starting to like build out his basement. I don't know if he was planning on making it a studio, but it ended up being a studio. So he hit me up one day because he like saw me involved in music, like trying to do my own stuff, and he's like, yo, do you think you want to come over and we'll make a record? I'm like, at this point I have Pro Tools, I got a new MacBook. I'm like pretty deep like involved, just trying to learn by myself. So I'm like, yo, I would love to go do a session over there. First session over at Toby's, wow, we made On My Own. I'm sure you've heard it. But that song went crazy. People loved it. So like right after we dropped that, he dropped that the same night we recorded it. We recorded it on a Sunday. He dropped it that night. It started going crazy. So I was like, yo, I think we have something here.
Got a connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Like me and Toby, we really just worked every single week of 2018 together. It was at least twice a week. Once during the week, once on the weekends, without a doubt. We were working real hard, and we just created that connection, like artist-engineer connection, where we can trust each other and just build together. Because the way I like see it with Toby, that was like my ultimate practice. Because I was working with him like solely for a while. I'd say for like 4 months, 5 months. And like that's how I really got good at what I was doing, because I was just doing it all the time. Toby's voice, I don't know if you guys have ever heard Toby Keith, but his voice super deep. He's literally been the hardest person for me to work with thus far.
And why is that?
His voice is super deep, and it has all these different tones that it's when you're trying to like carve it out in EQ, like it's so tough because there's a lot of negative frequencies in there that you gotta like get out, whether it's ringy, because if he tries to like sing, is like, I don't know, this might sound crazy, but like it gets a little nasally and a little throaty, so that becomes like a nightmare to get out. But I mean, I learned how to deal with Toby, so that helped me deal with everybody else. He only made me so much better. I gotta give you a shout out, Toby.
So can you go through the process of mixing and mastering and explain the difference of it?
Okay, dope. So basically, recording, totally separate from mixing and mastering. What I like to do, someone books a session with me, I like to record all the vocals first. I'm not mixing anything. Mastering is at the complete end when that track is done, but I like to record all the vocals first, and I'll get them. I like to level them out so they're all sitting like well for me to mix, so it makes my job easier.
Yeah.
But mixing is basically when you're taking that vocal from a raw state with no processing, no effects. You're compressing it, EQing it, throwing reverb, delay, whatever you want on, and that basically sets the tone for exactly how the song's gonna go. Like,
Okay.
it's kind of hard to explain without getting too technical, but
Feel free to get technical if you want.
perfect. So basically when you're mixing down a record or when you start mixing a record, that's basically the stage after everything's recorded, you're not changing anything. So someone books a session, we record everything. I'll do a rough mix at the end.
Yeah.
So just so they have like something to go listen to on their ride home or just something so they know like what the song is going to be like. But I always take my time and do it after the session or maybe the next day.
Yeah.
Because I really want to do a deep dive and really give it my all. And mastering's the last thing you do before you send that off as a WAV file.
Yeah.
So mastering is you're compressing it again, but you're also just making the overall loudness, and it's like putting the glue on the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Putting the glue, making it sound all in one instead of like separate. If you know what I mean. I mean,
Okay.
it shouldn't sound separated in the mix, but sometimes that happens.
One full song, not individual WAV files, or almost.
Exactly. Individual WAV files would be like the stems, but it'd be one full song.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm sure you heard records that were much lower and then like much louder.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not mastered. Some people don't get their stuff mastered, but you hear everything on the radio that's mastered.
Mm-hmm.
It's all super loud. It's just pretty much what makes the track all tied together. Putting the glue on, the finishing touches. And honestly, like that's one of the best parts because I love seeing the track come together.
The final project.
There's no better feeling than just when you knock out a mix and then you master it, it just gets that much better.
And you just realize, like, damn, I just did that.
Absolutely, because the way I look at it, I like to mix as if it is the master, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I want to mix so in my head it sounds like the master. I don't know if that makes sense, but like
You want to mix it to the point where it sounds like it could be released with a master.
exactly. So that means when you master it, it's just that much better.
That much better, that much easier to get it. Like,
Absolutely.
that's dope. So, what did you learn from working with Ian French over this past couple of months?
Shout out Ian French. So the way I linked up with Ian French is kind of crazy. There's also like another story after that, but so I always knew about him like through Twitter. I like found him, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, this dude's from Connecticut. He's down in Nashville. He's making plays. Like, this is super sick that someone from my state is like
Killing it.
doing exactly what I want to do. So I'm like, yo, this is definitely a guy I would love to work with, be in a room with, watch work. So I remember he came back from Nashville. He sent out a tweet like booking CT sessions. I was like, yo, that's definitely something I'm interested in. I hit up Toby. I'm like, hey, Toby, would you be down to book a session with Ian French with me? He's like, oh, definitely. I'm like, perfect. So I hit up Ian. We chopped it up in the DMs. We ended up linking in Torrington, which was Ian Matthews' studio. And at the time, I didn't even know who Ian up north was,
wow.
Ian Matthew. So honestly, we did a session for Toby there. I don't know if you ever heard of Astronaut, but
Yes.
it was off the album. That's where that record was made. Ian recorded, mixed, mastered that. Sounds amazing.
And you just sat back and watched it.
Oh yeah, he taught me a bunch of stuff, put me on game. He was even like helping me out, just like telling me what he was doing as he was going, which I'm eternally grateful for that guy because he really put me in a position where
Set you up for success.
absolutely, and I just try and reciprocate it to other people when they ask me about it because he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful. Like I will reciprocate that to anyone that asks me anything or wants to come sit down for a session and learn. So it's a win-win. I was stoked on that. Toby was stoked on the record. The crazy part, it was Ian's studio, Ian Matthew.
Yeah.
I met him that night, and I didn't really know like what his music was about.
How nice he was too.
Yeah. And then I went home, checked him out, and it was like a bunch of it was dope rap stuff.
Yeah.
Like super hard Cole 16s, and I was like, yo, this dude is sick. So I got his number that night. I hit him up. I'm like, yo, bro, you around for a session this week? I'll come out to Torrington. What do you know? We go out to Torrington, or I go out to Torrington, run a session for Ian Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
We completely did a 180 on his sound that night.
The rest of history.
We started doing some singing stuff, some more melodic stuff. We got a lot of records in the vault, and the next couple that are coming they're crazy.
Yeah, talk about your time with Ian Matthew now here at Packed House.
Yo, Ian Matthew, shout out you, bro. We going crazy. We lock in at least once, twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
and just straight cook. We probably have like 30 tracks together. They're not all finished,
Yeah.
but we got a bunch that are finished. That man really, he helped me get to where I am today because his style was something I've never dealt with before.
Yeah.
Like the
Different.
singing, more poppy style. I've never had to deal with that. So like working with him made me get much better and much more used to like a different genre.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like I love working with him. He's so versatile that we can rap and he can rap and sing on the same song, and the fact that he lets me do it, mix his music, engineer it, master it, I couldn't be more grateful. Working with him has been amazing.
What's your favorite song that you two have done so far? That is out already.
Ashtray for sure.
That should go crazy.
We made that in October, or no, in August. We made that in August, and that just came out a few months ago.
the
Go
video
stream
tied
Ashtray.
everything together too.
The video is crazy. That video is absolutely amazing. Then we did The Storm too. That was actually a song that came together like off a whim. We just like recorded the hook here one day. He just like brought out the beat. He's like, yo, put this on. So I put it in Pro Tools, made a session.
Yeah.
We didn't even record that all the same day. That happened like a month. The hook versus like everything else happened in like a month span.
Took your time with it.
I wasn't even like, I didn't even envision the record being like that until a month down the road.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked on how that came out. That song is doing some crazy numbers right now too. We're really pushing the pedal, me and him.
When's the next song coming out between you two? Can you tell, or is it
No.
confidential?
It'll be out within the next month, I should say. The
Okay,
next
cool.
month. And that song it's got some crazy production on it, some big names. Well, I know I'll tell you, it's produced by Ian French.
Hey,
I recorded, mixed, mastered it. It's an awesome song.
dope, bro. How about Brandon Serafino? He's a new one.
Shout out my boy Caleb Edens. Brandon Serafino, I got linked with him by my boy Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb's a videographer. He does music videos, directs movies.
He's nice, bro.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a great guy. And he hit me up one day. I was here. It was very early stages of me getting the studio.
Yo.
He hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm with one of my homies that's a singer. Like, can I come through? I'm like, absolutely. I got to chop it up with Brandon. We ended up recording a hook on one of the beats he brought with him, and I was stoked. Like,
Yeah.
it was insane. This guy's voice is awesome. And me, him, and Zulu and Ian Matthew, we also linked up a few weeks ago, about probably like a month ago. We all cooked up a record in the studio, so we can expect that collab sometime soon.
Okay.
It was awesome getting those two in a room together.
Yeah.
Especially Zulu on the production.
Zulu's nice, bro.
He's a different type of breed. His beats be hidden different,
Mm-hmm.
and he just knows exactly what he wants. And he like the direction he takes his beats is not what I even expect.
Yeah.
And that's like the dope part.
Out of the box.
Yeah, it's awesome. Beautiful production.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been super lucky to work with a lot of these people.
That's sweet, bro. And then the big one, the group Out of Tune. What have you done learning from Flawless and Say?
Shout out Out of Tune. Out of Tune, man. You know, I was so blessed to be able to work by and with Flawless.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me so much on the engineering aspect. Once I was here for the interview that you guys did with Out of Tune. I chopped it up with him after, got his number, and he asked me to come out to his house in Hamden, and me, him, and Say linked there. We were mixing down one of the new records that they have coming out, and he was teaching me so much, whether it was just engineering wise or like how to act in the studio or how you should be running your studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's taught me way more than just the mixing techniques, mastering
business to
techniques.
it.
Exactly. He's helping me with the business to it. And I'm just so lucky and so grateful to have met both of them. Like Say he's like he moves like a CEO.
Yeah.
That man, he
Big
really
boss.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what he wants and he's great at what he does. Like he can hear something and that'll spark an entire song and just I've seen him freestyle in the booth, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's so sick.
That's dope.
Absolutely.
What about Nick and Evander?
Nick Rose and Evander Blue. I got to record them a couple weeks ago. Yo, Nick Rose, he has the voice of
An angel.
of an angel, literally. It's insane because he could spit a 32 of straight crazy rap bars that are amazing, and then you just hear him go to this melodic, angelic state of his
Snap
voice.
of a finger.
It's so crazy. Evander Blue, man, he's a person that I really admire because I love his sound
Mm-hmm.
because it's nothing I've ever heard before. He takes what other people do like up to the next level. I don't know.
Mhm.
He really be finessing his tracks. His stuff sounds amazing. Like Party's Over, that
Fire.
song is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I can't even tell you that's nothing bad about that song. The way he could ride a beat is just it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I admire those guys. Like they're doing exactly what they should be, and they're definitely gonna get the recognition and whatever they deserve.
It's already here, man. Book a Tune coming out soon, and that shit's gonna be so
Book a
fire.
Tune Volume 1. That's gonna be something. That's gonna shake it up over here, man.
Yeah, big facts. So who are some other names that you worked with?
I do a lot of work for Mr. GA from New Britain. Shout out my boy Demi. Mr. GA, Sean from The Breakthrough, Aaron from The Breakthrough, Vinos, my boy Vinos. It was not last Friday and Saturday. We locked in for I think it's like 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We went from like 4 to 10 on Saturday or Friday night, and then we started here at noon on Saturday. We wrapped up the
Damn.
entire album. You guys can expect the album from us coming soon. It's not hip hop, but it's like indie rock, punk. It's amazing stuff. I'm super proud of what we have coming.
You're moving into these different genres.
That's what like I love doing because I get to hear some different stuff all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it honestly makes me get way better at my craft. So Dylan was actually one of my first clients. This is our second album together. We recorded an album last year.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is amazing. We started off in I think February of 2018 too with this single called Jet Lag.
Okay.
If you got time, definitely check it out after. But we've just been building ever since, and
Yeah.
he's a perfectionist. So everything on this album is tailored down to a T, and I couldn't be more happy with
That's
it.
what you need.
Absolutely, because anyone could just slap a track together,
Mm-hmm.
call it a finished product, but we really put these touches on with anticipation that it's going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it's going to take us 3 hours, I don't care.
Yeah.
This song's got to be perfect, and that's every single song on the album. So I'm real excited for that to be coming out. I don't have a date for it yet, but I could say it's going to be coming out before summer.
Cool.
Early spring, it should be
Yeah.
out. And that's really, I'm real proud of that one.
How many songs are on it?
I think we have 10
Okay.
10 songs. And there's definitely going to be a couple videos to come beforehand. So I am super pumped.
That's
Y'all are going to
exciting,
love
man.
it. Absolutely, bro.
Going back a little in time, talk about Mixed by Tbigs Volume 1.
Mix by Tbigs Volume 1. So basically, I would offer these free sessions to some people that I really wanted to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd come up with a song, and I just would, in return for a free session, I'd get to keep the song so I could put it on this mixtape.
Yep.
And I'm putting another one together, so artists, hit me up if you're interested in being on Mixed by Tbigs Volume 2. Basically, I want to put out a body of work that has 8 to 10 different artists on it.
Mm-hmm.
Volume 1 didn't really do that, but Volume 2 is definitely going to do that.
Do you have any names that you're thinking of?
I could definitely Toby Keefe, Vinos,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. GA, my homie that he's actually still in high school, Jay Dre.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna have him on there. I'm gonna try and get Out of Tune out of there,
Okay.
or Out of Tune on there, see what we can do. That would be insane. I'm
Yeah.
sure. And Brandon Serafino, and I want some Zulu production on there for sure. So I'm gonna put a lot of time and really try and make this perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Really just try and make it something that no one expects.
Dope.
Absolutely, bro.
So are there any other artists that you want to work with out of the state that you haven't yet?
I'm up for working with anybody, bro. Honestly, like specific artist, I honestly can't think of one. Maybe Mike Green for sure. I love Mike Green
Mike's
stuff.
so nice.
He's so different.
Dead Boy coming out. Yeah.
Dead Boy coming soon. I've been waiting on that, bro. And no, I'm really up for working with anyone.
Mhm.
I work with a lot of people now, so I would be down to work with absolutely any artist that's
Whoever
looking
comes in for a
work.
session.
Exactly, yo. Mixedbytbigs.com if you guys are looking to book a session.
Hey. So what's next? Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years?
Whoa, that's a question. 1 year, I think that I'll still be in the studio. I'll still be putting my head down, working like kind of what I'm doing now. I don't expect any crazy changes to happen. But 5 years from now, bro, that is a question right there. I really have no clue, but I would tell you where I want to be.
Where do you want to be?
I'd love to be a studio owner, whether that be in Connecticut or somewhere else. That would be absolutely amazing. And maybe 10 years being involved still with a studio, but also with a record label of some sorts. Maybe doing some management or A&R type stuff. I mean, that's just almost like a little Jimmy Iovine stuff. I don't know if you guys know who Jimmy Iovine is, but he is a legend.
Yeah.
That man
To say the
inspires.
least.
He inspires me. So anything that would be involved in that aspect would definitely be, I hope, in my road.
I can see it, man.
Thank you, bro.
So are there any more shout outs you want to give out before we end tonight's interview?
Shout out to Breakthrough,
Hey, thank you.
Ian French, Flawless, Toby. Everybody knows who's getting a shout out today. Shout out all the artists that come and work with me. Really appreciate y'all more than you know. And that's about it.
Well, thank you, man. This ends season 6, episode 9. Thank you. Have a good night.